Welcome back, guys, to Cosmic Girl 101. Glad you're here. In this video, we're talking about the new moon in Sagittarius, Jupiter's new moon. Jupiter is a planet that is connected to the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. This new moon is happening on the 1st of December 2024. Adjust to your own time location if you are after the exact moment of when this lunation occurs, if you're interested in working with lunation cycles or you have an event. So I'm going to be unpacking the planetary transits at the time of this new moon, the aspects that the planets are making with one another. And we're going to be going deep, y'all. We're going deep into this chart. And I've got a bit of a feeling that respect is needed in regards to this lunation. And the reason I'm saying respect is because this new beginning is governed by Jupiter, which is all about morals, ethics, and duty. And there's a lot of respect and discipline connected to these subjects: morals, ethics, and duty. So whatever we're beginning or we're anchoring into, whatever we are ready to develop, there's a sense of responsibility connected to this new moon. And Jupiter demands only that responsibility for what it is growing and developing. And Jupiter doesn't want to be caught out or seen as someone doing the wrong thing. It wants to be seen as a planet that is connected to morality and in good service to all, including the self. So this new moon is happening at 9 degrees of Sagittarius and 32 minutes. And co-present in the zodiac sign of Sagittarius at the time of this new moon is planet Mercury, currently retrograding at 20 degrees and 20 minutes. So when you have planets in the same zodiac sign, no matter what event is going on, even connected to your own natal chart, should you know it, it's going to have a deeper symbolic meaning connected to this new beginning on the 1st of December 2024 for all of us. So what we're unpacking here is a very well-rounded holistic understanding of the aspects, and we are now going to go into the meaning of this new beginning that's connected very significantly to a retrograde Mercury. Now, Mercury traditionally through astrology is what we call in detriment in the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. That's a very lit word amongst people. If you're new to astrology, go, oh, detriment, that doesn't sound very helpful or nice, or that sounds difficult. You'd be right to a certain degree. Because when a planet is in detriment, in painting in very, very broad strokes, we're talking about a planet that doesn't have all the resources it needs to be its authentic self and express the natural significations of that planet. Now, Mercury wants to move, it likes to travel, it likes to talk, it's intellectual, it likes mental stimulation, it likes variety, and ultimately likes to pull things apart to get a deeper understanding, then bring it all back together. And this is where we get this association with Mercury as being, oh, it's all over the place, or Gemini, oh, scattered, two-faced, all over the place. Virgo, oh, thinks too much, is hyper analytical and hypercritical, likes to really, get down to the details. Well, that's because of planet Mercury. And Mercury has a job to do. There's a necessary, dare I say, another lit word, evil, to unpacking and unraveling and pulling things apart. So we have a well-rounded understanding of a particular subject or what we are interested in. So Mercury's in detriment. So it doesn't have all the resources necessary to have sound, certain footing in moving forward. So what does this mean? Well, it's connected to a new moon in Sagittarius, which is Jupiter's zodiac sign. Well, what we could be experiencing at this new moon cycle is boldly stepping forward, but feeling very ginger at the same time, not completely confident. Why we aren't confident could be a plethora of reasons. But if we're looking at it through the symbolic, astrological, philosophical point of view, we look to where the planet that is connected to the zodiac sign of Sagittarius being Jupiter, and where Jupiter is currently located. What zodiac sign is Jupiter transiting in? Well, Jupiter is on the opposite side of the wheel in the zodiac sign of Gemini in a retrograde at 17 degrees and 9 minutes. Traditionally, Jupiter is also in detriment. It doesn't have all the resources to do Jupiterian themes organically. So we have two planets in a retrograde, being Mercury and Jupiter, in zodiac signs in a retrograde in detriment they don't like being in, Mercury in Sagittarius and Jupiter in Gemini. So this new beginning is flavoring the potentials of absolute pitfalls and a bumpy road ahead. Now, Jupiter's in a spring zodiac sign. Gemini is through tropical Western astrological teachings. Gemini is the season of spring. So it's a very youthful zodiac, a lot of gusto, a lot of strength, and yeah, let's just do it. And Jupiter, this planet, when we're talking about Jupiter in detriment and this planet in a spring zodiac sign, very youthful zodiac sign, Gemini, very excitable, excited about the options, very mercurial. And Jupiter being in detriment and not having its resources necessary to do Jupiterian things, what is Jupiter about? Well, Jupiter, contrary to Mercury, likes to expand things and likes wealth and growth and harvest and bounty. Mercury wants to pull that aside and get to the details. Mercury goes from the more logic point of view. Jupiter is more from the possibilities point of view. So Jupiter is a planet connected to morals, ethics, codes, structure, likes to create order out of chaos. It's very abundant. It's very life-giving, planet Jupiter. And it gets that association with expansion and growth. Now, it is positioned in a zodiac sign that's connected to spring, which is connected to growth. So how could this be a difficult position for planet Jupiter to be in? Well, astrologically it is. And it's quite simply because it's in Mercury's sign, and Mercury is very different from Jupiter. Very, very different planets. That doesn't mean they can't work together. And the interesting thing about this new moon lunation and where Jupiter and Mercury are currently positioned, we have what's called mutual reception. Mutual means together, an understanding, reception, receiving. So both Mercury and Jupiter are in zodiac signs where they can see one another quite clearly because they're opposed to one another in our sky. And you can also see it in the chart. But they can see one another and they've got mutual reception, so they have an understanding that they're both not coping very well. This is good, that they understand that they're not coping very well. It's like, okay, we know we're not well resourced, but we get it. We understand this. And what this provides is, for all of us at the time of this new moon, is a cosmic green path of understanding. Go forward, but understand there's going to be bumps ahead. There's going to be some learning curves, and there's going to be some information or events that we need to go back over. Now, regardless whether these planets are in a retrograde at the time of this new moon, they are still in zodiac signs that they know they don't have a full understanding or the capacity to be on high, if you will. Regardless whether they're direct or forward, they still have an understanding of one another, that they're not very well resourced and things are going to unravel potentially to retweak, re-strategize, and come together in complete harmony and unity. So this new moon is flavored by pitfalls, bumps in the road, not really having everything together. But with a new moon cycle, we get excited, and you will possibly notice significantly within yourself and people around you that when the moon phase is in the waxing part of the cycle, which means it's growing in light, the moon is getting bigger and bigger and bigger as the days go on. People are more energized. Whether you practice astrology or follow the lunation, psychologically you would possibly have that imprint that, yes, it's a new moon, everything's opening up, it's excitable. And when it's a waning phase of the moon, you may be more melancholic, you may be more subdued, more quiet, more introverted. So whether it's psychological, symbolic, whatever fence you sit on, the new moon generally heralds a lot of energy beginning to build, but it's fresh and it's new. But this new beginning, whatever you're embarking on, or you're just working with immune cycles, or you're just understanding astrology, there is something building momentum. But what's building and starting on this new moon lunation, because we're integrating Mercury and Jupiter connected to the lunation, we understand that there's teething problems. You know, there's baby steps, there's incremental steps along the way of this lunation cycle in Sagittarius, this new moon, that's going to change and be adapted and flexed and could look a completely different way at the end of the lunation cycle. Now, the moon and Jupiter and Mercury are also in zodiac signs connected to mutable modalities. So we're talking about mutable signs. Mutable signs are changeable, flexible, adaptable. So as you may be appreciating, you're hearing, okay, I'm not really hearing a lot of negative stuff. And when you start really delving into the chart and understanding astrology, you're thinking that, well, these planets aren't doing so bad. They've got mutual reception. They're in each other's zodiac signs. They understand, but they're in zodiac signs that are mutable, which both these planets are quite used to. They're used to being in mutable zodiac signs. Mercury is the sign ruler of Gemini and Virgo, both mutable signs. Jupiter is a sign planetary ruler of Pisces and Sagittarius, they're mutable zodiac signs. So these planets are, to a very large degree, have the capacity to flex and move and change at will and on demand. They have that capability. So even though this new beginning has these, bumps in the road, and there's all this, things aren't looking real great, but I'm doing it, I'm going for it. I think that's a healthy way to look at this new moon lunation. It's a very healthy way to look at it. We're not going to stop progressing and embarking on things that we really dearly love and enjoy because the planets aren't completely in favor. As humans, we just keep going. We're designed to do that, to keep moving forward. How Jupiterian and mercurial can you get? So the adaptation, the flexibility and the adaptability and variety and stimulation, all the things that you're starting on this day is going to change throughout the lunation cycle. There's going to be some changes. There's going to be checking in points. There's going to be a slowdown, a recalibration, a readjustment. But It might be the tonic we just might need, because with understanding and experience and establishing and developing a degree of expertise, it takes a lot of time and stumbling to get to what you may perceive as the perfect ending of a product, a goal, or an achievement in your own life. There has to be stumbling blocks. If you go forward boldly and go, yeah, I can do it, there's no problem, I have no questions, this is done, most people will go, I'd like to see your thesis and understanding how you got to that. You know, someone, you may know this, someone can go, oh, look at this, look at what I've created, and they go, yeah. Or a perfect example is someone that's really adept to technology, and they go, I'm really having trouble with this, and they come in and they quickly deal with the problem that you're having, and you go, well, that's fantastic, I learned nothing. So this new moon is about learning and the stumbling blocks that we go through before we become niche, experienced, and a certain expertise level. A very optimistic way of looking at this new moon. Not a bad thing at all, guys. Just know that these planets are in zodiac signs that are in reception, they're mutable, they're used to the flexibility and adaptability, they're in retrograde. Yeah, they do it all the time. It's part of the journey. But there's a humbling connected to stumbling and falling all over the place, is there not? that's the way it is. And we get humbled by some very sticky, potentially embarrassing or moments where we realize, our eyes are too big for our belly. Very Jupiter, eyes too big for your belly, taking on more than you can handle. So what's the practical application connected to this new moon that you can utilize at this time? How do you approach this in your own personal experience? Well, even as simple as, developing a relationship with the moon cycles. You might fumble and have a difficulty and, mentally understanding, the lunation cycles, the phases and the pictures of the phases. If you're learning something new, a new language, a new skill, something about your personal body, developing a new hobby, which is all a great thing to begin. These subjects are great things to begin on a new moon in Sagittarius because it's about expansion, but most things in our lives are about expansion and growth. So the stumbling blocks are going to be there, and that's okay. And we learn from those, yeah? So let's have a look at some aspects. Let's have a look at how the planets are communicating with one another. Well, I'm not a really big fan astrologically of going deep into nodes and Chiron and south nodes, but they're reputable mention at the time of this new moon. So Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is connecting in a trine to Chiron retrograding at 19 degrees and 22 minutes. So trines through the lens of astrological Hellenistic teachings are of Jupiter nature and characteristics. So that's expanding. But remembering that Jupiter is retrograding. So Jupiter retrograding in Gemini, that youthful, excitable zodiac sign, that's a connection. But so what's easier is healing to some degree or learning. Chiron is connected to being a teacher, through overcoming some difficulties regarding a healing process or an injury, whatever injury that may be, spiritual, physical, or psychically. So this trine, it might be easier for Mercury retrograde connecting in a trine to Chiron retrograde in Aries. It might be easier to understand that we may have got ahead of ourselves regarding the healing process. And we may need to, not that we don't need to be optimistic, but maybe just rein in the realities of a healing process that you may be experiencing at this time. We also have the North Node in Aries at 4 degrees in a trine aspect to Mars in 5 degrees of Leo. And again, the trine aspect through Hellenistic teachings is of the nature of Jupiter. So what's easier? The North Node is about I shouldn't be speaking like that. The North Node is where we move towards to expand. We're going to that direction. So the North Node in Aries is the direction of being independent, assertive with the self, creating strength and muscle, being very strategic and having a vision and not being excited about it. Like, how do I do this? What's all the ingredients I need to get to what I want? That North Node. And that North Node in 4 degrees of Aries is connecting to the ruler of the zodiac sign of Aries, which is Mars at 5 degrees in Leo. So the trine, which is easier, it's a Jupiterian aspect. So it's easier to be optimistic and develop more skills and strength in what it is that we want to expand on. What do we want to get stronger in? Whatever we're beginning on this day. And this is helpful. These are helpful aspects at the time of this new moon in Sagittarius. We also have Mars at 4 degrees in Leo connecting with the South Node in Libra in a sextile aspect, and that is a Venusian connection through Hellenistic teachings. So it's easy. Sextiles are an easier aspect, so it's easy. So for Mars in Leo, connecting to the South Node in Libra, as well as connecting with the North Node in Aries, this looks good for coming to terms with putting something to rest connected to Libran topics and Venusian topics. So that's to do with justice, fairness, equality, balance, law, anything to do with harmony and connection. So it's easier to let go of these things at this time and develop skills to create more autonomy. So this could be good for getting yourself out of a bind with a contract, an agreement, a partnership, something that you felt that the morals and ethics have been off and you need to do something new for yourself. So it might be easier to sever, cut and separate from things that have been anchoring for you. How can that not be helpful? So this new moon in Sagittarius, as you may be starting to appreciate, isn't looking too shabby at all. We also have Venus at 23 degrees of Capricorn, and she's making a trine to Uranus, currently retrograding in the zodiac sign of Taurus at the time of this new moon. So this is nice. And again, that trine is Jupiterian. So it's easier for Uranus retrograde in Taurus to connect with Venus in Capricorn. Now, Venus is the planet that is the planet of Taurus, and she's also the planet of Libra. So I find this fascinating. And so what's easier is with that trine from Venus to retrograde Uranus. Venus in Capricorn is in it for the long term. So she develops a really good strategy in understanding delayed gratification. She's not for immediate sensation. She wants a long-term, well-rounded, well-developed connection in the zodiac sign of Capricorn. So when she's connecting with Uranus in that trine on the day of this new moon to retrograde Uranus in her zodiac sign, it's easier for Venus to be savvy, to be bold. So connected to this new moon, we have the possibility at hand, symbolically through the lens of astrology. Symbolically, Venus is up for being diverse, being different, being sassy. It's not to say that she's not interested in stability and long-term gratification. It's just that she's ready, I believe, with this connection on the new moon, to encourage out-of-the-box thinking that's a little bit devil may care, where angels fear to tread. And this could be helpful at this new moon for us to, we may not have all the ingredients necessary at the time of this new moon and certainty and a lot of optimism about this new beginning, but we're drawn to start. And Venus is certainly helping. Mars is helping. And we go forward boldly. And we're designed to do that. And we have to, in some way, shape, or form, go forward with new beginnings without having all the ingredients or knowledge at hand. We'll develop it over time. And boy, oh boy, we'll do that. Especially with Venus in Capricorn, which is, very well developed, mature Venus. So whatever you're beginning, there will be a breakthrough. There will be a cohesion, a unity, and an understanding. And I think that's helped along by Uranus retrograding in Taurus, giving us all that electric shock we may need to go. Just go. It's like we're standing on the pool's edge, or we're looking at a body of water and it's not completely hot. It's not 45 degrees, but we're standing there. We're going, oh, is the water going to be cold? And Uranus and Venus, for example, in this chart, trining, it's easier to give you a shock to go, just do it. So I think that's helpful at the time of this new moon. So there we go. That's my take on the new moon in Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed the video and the content. It needed a little bit more unpacking for people to not be so nervous connected to the detriments of the planets of Jupiter and Mercury. I think sometimes it's exacerbated way too much, and we don't want people to be fearful of the astrology. We need people to have a very well-rounded, holistic understanding of astrology and the meanings of the words detriment and trines and sextiles. And if you're new to astrology, you'd be overwhelmed if you're hearing someone speak a million miles an hour about, this in detriment, this, blah, 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 and you'd be going, whoa, it's too much. I don't understand this. It sounds really hard. So we don't want to do that to people. We want people to enjoy astrology, have an easy to digest, palatable understanding of the symbology of the planets. But it is a new moon. Enjoy it. The planets, I think, are on board more than we anticipate. So go forward boldly. Enjoy this new beginning. Enjoy the new cycle. Enjoy the stumbling blocks. But enjoy the electricity of the Venus-Uranus retrograde connection with that trine, because it's something that we're just, let's go for it. And that's great. And it's very helpful with Mars connecting with the North Node in Aries to go, I can develop the skills and the strength. I can go for it. I need to go for more individual self-autonomy and power. I can do something on my own. And also connecting in that sextile to the South Node in Libra. It's easier to let go of all the rules and the structures and relationships and contracts, because you just want to start something for yourself and open up your horizons. So enjoy the new moon on the 1st of December 2024. Okay. I'm your Cosmic Girl 101 signing off. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will connect with you next time. So I have two offerings at the time of this video. I have a one-time offer video. You can go on my YouTube channel, Cosmic Girl 101, and you can scroll down in the videos section and you'll come across the one-time offer video. Now, this offer, when you click on it and listen to it, if you want to take it up, it ends on the 30th of November. So I thought I'd throw that in if you're interested in the year ahead astrology for yourself. And I also have the 2025 rising sign offer video just uploaded today as well with this new moon video. And that offer is open. So if you're interested in the astrology for 2025 connected to your rising sign, you might want to check out those videos, and I'll send you all the information on how you can take up that offer. Stay cosmic, guys. I'll connect with you next time.